Massa. Pappa älskar dig. Yeah. So today's been the day from hell, and let's just get on with it. Rainy day, and I've been promising to do this. First of all, I apologize for the artwork on the background, if that's what you call it. That was not my purchase. I hope you would trust me more with your money than that. Anyway, I've wanted to do a financial report for a long time. The first one, the only one I've done, was October last year. We were dealing with considerably less amount of money. Okay, so that was $85,000 at the time. We've currently raised, well, $434,978. That's a lot of money. I didn't think it was over 350 until today. And I've been working on this for, well, it's 8:30 now, and I started this around 10 a.m. So I'll just get started into it. And at the end, I want to talk about myself, other volunteers, social media. I even want to mention James Vasquez. So stay tuned. I'm going to go through this as best I can. Through PayPal, I have two accounts, a Swedish one and a Ukrainian one. On my Instagram, you can go through to get my Swedish one, and at the bottom of all my description of all my videos, YouTube, Instagram, there's my Ukrainian PayPal account. Together, they have raised the equivalent of $335,846. All the prices are quoted in US dollars, despite that's not the currency they come in. I used xe.com to convert. Swish, so that's Swedish. Thank you for everyone that swishes. $32,936. Bacs transfers from the UK, much appreciated. People always ask what's my name for my bacs details. It's Brandon Mitchell. I've raised $16,893 through bacs transfers. Buy me a coffee. Thank you very much to Pacifist, one of my followers who kept annoying me to get buy me a coffee. You can annoy me anytime. It's raised $41,990. And my YouTube revenue, I count this as well because it's all in there. To date, I've been paid out $7,313. So that's a grand total of $434,978. Okay, that is an exact figure. Of course, today I've probably raised a couple $100 in donations. That's not included. And there was also some expenses today. I sent Harley probably about £500. But so this is pretty accurate as of today on the 3rd of July. So $434,978 raised. That's an exact figure. And I've calculated expenses for $419,782. Not counting what's in my bank accounts right now. There's probably like a few $1,000s, but there's a discrepancy for over $15,000, so $15,196. Put all the money in my bank accounts for future purchases. It's probably about $11,000 that I can't account for. I've had to use a lot of rough estimates for things, but I'll specify what is very specific. So let's do the big things first. Enrico generators, diesel generators, and in December we purchased benzene generators because he was coming over on a run anyway, so I better to have some generators. We could not buy diesel. We raised $82,598. That's what I've sent to Enrico for generators and to cover some of their expenses to get over. Harley, radios, etc. Total money spent with Radio Trader and expenses to Harley, $86,292. To date, we have an exact figure of 167 radios. That's DP series and Motorola R7. And we've also purchased extender whips. We purchased programming cables. So that's all come through Radio Trader. Harley will deliver 65 radios very shortly to the UK. That's all come out of the Buy Me a Coffee and then through bacs transfers very recently, okay, for those 65 radios. Give you an idea, they're about over £400 a radio now. They're about £450. The component prices are going up. Prices are always going up. But to give you an idea, it's a good price. In Europe, you'd pay €600. NVGs and thermals. This has been our biggest purchases to date. NVGs and thermals with MSS Defense Group. And I'm going to get the very specifics up as well here. We've raised $99,702 that has been paid to MSS Defense. So that's just shy of $100,000. Again, that was in euros, but I'm doing all this in US dollars. We purchased 14 PSV-14 NVG monoculars with helmet mount. That cost extra. 19 25mm AGM rattlers, thermal scopes. 10 19mm AGM rattler thermals. 5 35mm AGM rattler thermals. 3 35mm HIC micro thermals. 1 50mm high ray thermal for Maxim recently. And 1 3-kilometer laser rangefinder. Okay, that was for Maxim. So that's been delivered. Some of the NVGs, a couple sets would be on wherever Rebecca's position is now. One set to Andre. Some of the thermals, full disclosure, due to failure in paperwork, they're still being held at one of the borders, but we're working to resolve that. Okay, so thermals is going to take some time. I've got some out. I'm sorry, but we're doing the best we can. Now, let's talk about trucks. I purchased 2 Pajeros. So, by the way, generators, radios, NVGs, thermals, $268,592 total. Okay. Now, for trucks, this is an exact figure as those were. I had $18,780. I purchased 3 trucks. The Pajero that blew up, another Pajero. Those were the first 2 vehicles I bought when I only had Instagram. That's in Hospitallers Battalion. That's been through hell and back. And a Kia Sorento, thanks to Ben from Germany, who works with International Aid Group. He's a mechanic who was able to find a very good Sorento for cheap and do the repairs required. So that went to 1st Armoured Brigade. This is all documented on my Instagram. That's an exact figure. This is not an exact figure. $10,000 worth of vehicle repairs. Okay, like the other day I sent 1,000. My truck that was on the position where Rebecca was, that required $1,000 worth of work. That's a Nipro. Every time a vehicle's got to be repaired, it's 500, it's $1,000. Ignat was very good since I've been gone from Ukraine. He repaired that Land Cruiser 2 months ago. It went back east, and my patrol stays behind. That's just been fixed. I will not, I think it's a sin to hoard vehicles, but I'm going to leave one back for me no matter what. I'm just roughly guessing at least $10,000 in repairs since the war. Fuel, I estimated again, for 11 months, I was running my own vehicles at my own expenses, your expenses, and I took a figure of, say, $60 a day times 333 days. I have over $20,000 in fuel expenses. I can't find out, because I don't read all the Cyrillic. A lot of this has been bought with my Ukrainian Privat bank account. I've tried to track as best I can. That's why some of these are very estimates. Over $6,500 in tires, either for my vehicles, for Elf, Panda, bought a set of tires for Rebecca's truck, Dimitri's got tires, tires. Now, with other things, I've bought clothing for the army. I've bought over $3,000 at Militarist, which is one of the bigger army surplus. Well, it's not surplus, it's new shit. It's army shop. Buying boots for soldiers when we were in Avdiivka, gloves, stuff like that. Epicenter, I've calculated at least $12,560 at Epicenter. So what happens? I go to Epicenter, it puts Walmart to shame, Costco to shame. And say if I was going to Nipro to pick up 4 generators, which is what will fit in a truck, and I'll fill it with stuff. I like giving out tow cables like Christmas trees, compressors, for cars, for tires, all the oils I've bought there. Loads and loads of things from Epicenter over the time, stationery, candles, you name it. But 12,560. This could be where a lot of the money is missing that I can't account for. Allo is an electronics shop chain. I have $10,600 I've been able to find. What I was buying from Allo was the EcoFlow power stations. So quite simply, it's about like the size of a Pentium, I don't know what you use nowadays, desktop like computer box. And that's a power bank that would power your lights, your Starlinks for a long, long time. They're anywhere from $800 to $1,000. I don't remember how many I bought, somewhere between 10 and 20. But if they're $800 to $1,000 each, obviously I've spent more than the $10,600 that I can find. So that's about $26,160 between Militarist for clothing, Epicenter purchases. I love handing out tow cables. Like, here you go, Budlaska, not by Alaska. Whoever said that in the comments. I bought spare batteries for the radios, $42,000 or $4,200 for 60 aftermarket batteries. I'm still trying to fundraise for batteries right now for these R7 radios because it takes a special battery. Motorola has a shortage, like when we buy the radios, when we can get them. Radio Trader does not sell spare batteries for R7s. So I did buy 60 at one time, aftermarket. They work very good. Andre and the boys are very happy. I want to talk about that quickly, just to divert. So when I left Avdiivka area, there was at least 24 radios. They were supposed to go out. It never got documented while I was gone. 4 of the radios and a lot of the spare batteries went to Andre from 28th Brigade. He told me, and this is how cool a radio battery is, because they had so many spare batteries, because ideally they want 3 batteries per radio, especially in the winter, the cold. He didn't have spare batteries, so only the drivers were using the radios he had before. But he was able to put them out in position with the spare batteries. He believes that probably 20 guys aren't 200 or 300, because when the shelling was hard, you need comms. They were able to stay tight in the trench. So that's pretty profound, that a battery could do so much. So I haven't sourced them yet, but I need to find more R7 batteries. I'm going to need about $8,000 for that. But no hurry, because I should be back in a few weeks. We'll talk about that at the end. So that's the batteries. I've spent 1,500 euros, so $1,600 on TXA. That is it assists with blood clotting in the body. That has gone out to Avdiivka area and to some of the GUR teams, which I found out were actually hoarders. But I'm not judging them. I've done a lot of thinking about this since I've been gone, because a lot of Ukrainian units hoard as well. It's not even a corruption thing. It's you don't know when you're going to get again. I would debate, if you're a GUR team from overseas, foreigners, you should have more supplies. But in principle, they're doing the same as Ukrainians do. They want everything for them. Some people will pass on to other people and some won't. That's human nature. I spent $1,500 on a drone project with Dimitri, which is very slow going. I can't offer any more updates on that. They've had problems with guidance systems and other things, but I believe there are Ukrainian drone projects that are working. I believe theirs will. Was it good or bad money spent? It's someone who I trust. Okay. Let's talk about my personal expenses. I've spent over $1,000 on clothing. Like when my truck blew up, I had to buy all new clothes in Nipro. I have bought a new pair of running shoes the other day. I've like I bought those a couple, I think before I went to Canada, because mine were pretty old. I've sent over $4,000 home, mainly for care of Massa. Hey Massa. It's been raining all day, so she's in a bit of a shitty mood. But we're gonna go out for a nice walk soon. I have spent $1,400 on phone bills, my Ukrainian phone and my Swedish phone, which I've maintained all this time. I've also added up for food and cigarettes, but it's like $20,000. Why is it $20,000 on food and cigarettes, Brandon? I took a cost average of $50 a day for the whole war, roughly. Because some days I'm not buying anything. Some days I'm buying pizza for everybody. Some days I'm buying KFC for everyone. I'm giving out cigarettes to dedushkas, chocolate to babushkas when we were doing evacuations. So I fed myself, but I fed everybody else too. Everybody always ate better, for better or worse. I was always buying food. One time I had nothing to do before Donbass, when it calmed down at 1st Armored Brigade, so I'd go buy Red Bull, shit like that for the guys, and that's what I did. But I reckon it's over $20,000 with cost averaging. Yeah. Hotels and flights. So I've been to Estonia, Denmark, Sweden, England, US, so Florida, Texas, on training courses, and I've done a media tour in Canada and all these countries. I've done many podcasts. So hotel, flights, and rentals has been over $6,600. Some of the flights have been donated by people like Julie, who follows and supports. People like Professor Light, who invited me to Canada originally from U of T to work with St. Volodymyr's. That was fantastic. And also, if Gord's watching this, I didn't even count this in here. You gave me $1,000 cash US when you came that night, and we sat and chatted with Pollinatrix and Scott and Judy and everybody at the end of the night. I spent all that money on ammo, fuel, and steaks in Texas for my instructor and me, and he taught me for free. He gave me his Jeep. He just rode his motorcycle, and he worked his paramedic shifts. But he's an ex-sniper, and he put me all through that course on the AKs. It was very enlightening, and I will say I have a new respect for United States Marines. If you can shoot 500 yards on your qualification with an iron sight, I'm told it's a big target, but you ain't hitting that with an AK, and I ain't hitting it with an M4. Okay, so all respect to United States Marines. Thank you to Gord for that $1,000. I did not equate that. I want to talk about volunteers, and this is the one I want to talk about the most. It was very easy for me to calculate this through PayPal to donations to people like Eddie, Andre West, Philip, Olia Zaitseva, Zhenya from Region 13. That's just through my PayPal. But we have this thing in Ukraine with Privat Bank, card-to-card transfers. So I was quickly able to find out who those were. I am meticulous about my documentation on social media about where things go, so I get more money to buy more things. What I do not document is giving individuals money to maybe handle their things. So let's talk about Olia Zaitseva, because she won't mind. She was the first person I ever donated to handle her own personal affairs out of your money. Olia is a tireless volunteer from Dnipro. She's a single mother. Her mother takes care of her son, and she works a week in Donbass, a week home. She's very effective. And I messaged her after I got out of hospital saying, what are we going to do now? And she told me, like crying, like almost, I assume by the text. She said, Brandon, I got to pay bills at home. I might have to go back to work. I can barely keep the lights on, So I gave her $1,000 of your money. And what I've learned about volunteers, I try to be, more chicken, less steak. I've had a couple steaks, but, you don't hold us into the same vile, putrid regard as politicians. You know we have lives, and if we don't take the piss, many politicians do, but you want us to be taken care of too. Like, I send money home to Massa, and that's, as long as you support me, I will send money home to my dog. But I've supported Olia, one of the head trainers at Hospitalers. He makes 8,500 grivna a month, but he's a volunteer and he's a great trainer. I've given him money. There is an intern neurosurgeon from Lviv who's been in our battalion as long as me. It's an unpaid battalion. I've often asked her, do you want anything? Do you need? No. She messaged me once for tourniquets. So 40,000 grivna is about $1,000 worth of Sitch tourniquets I sent to her. And I said, do you need some money? And she said, yes, I will take the money now. She's working in Kramatorsk in the neurosurgery ward till September. Okay, I sent her the equivalent of $500. In September, she is going to go to Germany to finish her studies. She served since the beginning of the war. She'll probably be back when she finishes. She'll come back to serve again. Why shouldn't she have $500? But I don't document those people because it's kind of like, look at us. If it's a generator going to this brigade, if it's a night vision going to this brigade, if it's 20 radios that never got accounted for by someone I asked to do, well, that sucks. But it should be accounted for. Eddie Scott, for example, he used to donate to me. He's from England. He is absolutely amazing. Fantastic guy. But, I gave him £3,000, fix your truck, and then buy tourniquets for Avdivka, for Rebecca, and then they got 92 tourniquets. I have never supported her. Let's talk about this now, because some people wrote me. I'm not on Twitter. Why don't you support Rebecca? Okay, I bought her some tourniquets. I bought her a set of tires for her truck. That's all I've ever done. What I've given out, what she's collected and she's given out to the soldiers, to the brigades there, I don't know her financial situation. No, she wrote that Brandon's never supported me with my work. That in essence is true. Okay. She's a fantastic nurse, and what she does down there I could never do, and not only professionally, as a person with those people. But no, I don't support her work in essence. Tourniquets, a set of tires, just like other volunteers. Like if you need something and you asked, I would do everything to get it for you, for anyone. So I just thought I'd address that right now, because some people on Twitter, well, that's very disappointing that he doesn't support your work. She's pretty good at what she does, she's fantastic. But I just wanted to talk about that, because a lot of people assume things like, I will not support anybody that writes me for a person I don't know, because I don't have enough to support everyone I do know as much as I would like to. Andre West, I've given him money before to fix his truck. Oleg Forever, Ukraine, I gave him $1,000 recently to fix his truck. His organization, they raised a lot of money to buy U.S. Army surplus clothing. Now he's over here as a trainer. He speaks perfect Ukrainian but grew up in America, but through the church he learned. He was a translator for medical courses and tactical courses for a year, and now he's teaching what he's been translating for over a year. He's fantastic, Oleg. But yeah, I've given $28,900 a year money to other volunteers. Dimitri has gotten a lot of that. How many times has Dimitri wrecked his truck? How many times has he done things for me? If he needs tires, or if his friend, can we get this for a medic or whatever? $28,900. Okay, I'll tell you one now. Nika. When Nico died, and Nika was in the back as the paramedic, she lost her phone. It's a bit of nepotism on my part, and she needed a new phone. She would never ask. I pretty much gently forced it upon her, but she has a very, very good Android now, one of the best you could buy. I don't know if it's the best, but it was one of the newer Androids. She should have a good phone. She deserves it. Maxine, truck repairs. It just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. But yeah, that's what I've done with the money. So all the big purchases, generators, radios, thermals, NVGs, 268,592, 28,900 to volunteers, truck repairs, trucks, fuel, tires, 55,280, flights, hotels, rentals, 6,600, my personal expenses, including all the food and cigarettes and chocolate for babushkas and the army, like buying pizzas, and I love buying Red Bull and Monster Energy drinks in bulk. 26,450. I don't know how much I've spent at Allo, that's the EcoFlow power stations, Epicenter, just buying random stuff, Militarist, but minimum 26,160. Those are the ones that I was able to track down relatively easy. Radio batteries, 4,200. Education, I didn't mention this. I've spent $500. I have a membership to paramediccoach.com. That's like $150. I could not recommend that enough. And I also paid for my new TACMed course. And that is the most up-to-date certification for TCCC. And I didn't have the legal qualification before. But now I do by NAEMT from America. And we worked on pigs, dead pigs, because live pigs are illegal. Live tissue training is illegal and you shouldn't do it because, I really felt good. I learned how to do a crike, a thoracostomy as well. So I didn't have that before. And I'm quite confident that I could assist with a thoracostomy now. And I could do one shortly after. But I've done a few of those on pigs. So I've invested in that. Drugs, drone project, a total of, just go back here, a total of $419,782 in roughly in expenses, against a confirmed $434,978 received. That's confirmed because that was easy to tally up. That's a discrepancy of about $15,196. I'm sorry. I wasn't pissing it away at casinos, or I've heard some real nasty comments like, why don't you help so-and-so instead of spending it on whores and cigarettes in Kiev? That's not my inclination. No. But again, there's some things I just can't account for, and I'm sorry. I know I bought way more EcoFlows than what I can track down, but I don't know how many. I've forgotten more things I've given out. It's all because of you. And in conclusion, what I do want to talk about, James Vasquez, okay? And I'm inspired, I think too much. But I remember someone telling me that this guy, I don't know all the details, he was big on Twitter. I guess I'm told you get a lot of donations from Twitter if you're on Twitter. So if you have a big Twitter following, you'll get lots of donations, particularly from America. I'm not on it. He apparently raised $3 million, and apparently he's been proven to be a scam artist. Now, my friend Caitlin from Indiana, she told me that she followed the whole thing quite closely, and James Vasquez was in fact probably not a con artist. He just didn't know how to handle the success. So he went to Ukraine with the best of intentions, but couldn't handle the success. So all the people I think about, the other volunteers who have prominent social media platforms, I think, one of my friends is a nurse. One of my friends from Sweden was a soldier. He took big money, probably more than me. He was a soldier. They make a pitiful sum. Ignat was a photojournalist. Unless you're the top, you don't really make any money. These are people with big platforms. James Vasquez, I looked into him. He was a carpenter's assistant. They don't make big money. Carpenters do. But what do I do? Okay. One thing that I have absolute advantage, if I can humbly say, I've been self-employed since I left the army, and I pissed all my money up against the wall. Great, right? No, but I started a business after I got clean a year after I got clean, about maybe almost 2 years. And it took me a few years, but I learned financial maturity. Okay, so what that means, when I have money in the bank, it's not time to go buy a new coat. Okay, because my money is not my money. Not like an employed person, I was an employer. All my employees had to pay. I was in the events industry. Deposits had to be paid for events and shows, fairs, festivals, things like this. Vehicles had to be repaired. Stock had to be bought from China. So it would have to come. A lead time would be 3 months. You'd pay 20% down before the bill of lading, which you get like when they put it on the ship from China. It had to be paid in full. Then you had to pay your VAT or your GST on the import when it came. So what I learned, this $434,978 has yet to, it's not a great business, but I had a small business. This has yet to exceed my yearly turnover, okay? So when I had money, I was comfortable, not with millions, but with tens of thousands of dollars, that I could have 10, 20,000 in the bank sometimes and not spend it. Why would I not spend it? Because I had nothing to spend it on. So it's not time to go buy new clothes. It's not time to go on vacations or buy cars. I need that money because there could be emergencies. Vehicles blow up, rained out events. Running in fairs and festivals in England, you know, it rains in England. Things often don't go your way. So I had to be prepared for emergencies. But also, I had to be prepared for opportunities. When opportunities come, if I had the cash flow to take advantage of it. I'm a high school dropout with a GED. I have almost 3 years of an economics degree. I learned about opportunity cost. We can do anything, but we can't do everything. And economics is to solve unlimited wants and desires with limited means. So that's your rishallah. I don't make my financial decisions if I can help it. The bigger ones or smaller ones, even $1,000, I try to wait till the next day. I learn through crisis and business management sometimes, and life management. My thinking will be clearer in a minute, in an hour, in a day, in a week. Sometimes we don't have a week, but my thinking will be clearer later. And I can talk to people too and get their advice. So I try not to make my decisions all on my own. So that's it. $434,978 raised against the expenses of $419,782 and $15,196 unaccounted for. Without looking, I didn't even think about this. There's probably about 4,000 in the bank right now. So there's about 11,000 to play with that I can't account for, but I've done the best I can. I will get news on my immigration this week. I got an email today, the letter's on the way. And on Sunday, I start a fundraising hike. I'm doing Sweden's longest trail, Kungsleden, 475 kilometers. I will attempt, depending on my health, if I can do it because it's towards the end, I will try to go up Kebnekaise, Sweden's highest mountain. So it would be over 500 kilometers. I'm not fundraising for myself. I'm fundraising for Blue Gula Billen, Blue and Gold Car of Sweden, and they've donated over 300 vehicles to the Ukrainian army. They donated a truck to me, the Land Cruiser. But I want to fundraise for them because I'm in Sweden. I want to help a Swedish organization that helps Ukraine while I'm still here. But I'll receive that letter this week. And regardless, I'm going to go do this hike. I need it for my physical and mental health. And then we go back to Ukraine. I aim to finish it in 2 weeks, but I'm going to document everything for social media, because why wouldn't you? I hope to raise enough money to buy 2 vehicles. And one man who's anonymous has already offered to buy me another vehicle for the value of 100,000 Swedish crowns, excluding tax. And that will be donated to Hospitallers Battalion for when I go back. So I think I've talked enough for 35 minutes. This is a video for the diehards. But if you donate to me, I would hope that you would watch this. Thank you very much for your faith and your trust and your patience. And we'll just say goodbye to Masa, because that's what you're really here for.